Hello Pangaea and welcome to the community roundup video for round 3. I just wanted to say a huge thank you again for an amazing round. We have received 23 entries and the playlist has received 1,250 views, which is an absolutely incredible number. Thank you all so much for sharing each other's videos, for liking, for commenting and making round 3 feel like such a community focused thing. The quality was outstanding yet again. And it's been an absolute privilege. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys get up to in round 4. We're going to be following the same format as all of the other weeks, so I'm going to be briefly recapping on the things you might have missed. I'm going to be telling you about the things that are coming up this week. We're going to count down the top 10 poets of round 3, and then I'm going to share with you the hilarious free-written poem that was produced in this week's Google Hangout. So, things you might have missed. Top of that list will be Christian Foley's Create lecture. I really encourage you to check this out. Chris goes really far into his practice both as an educator and as a performer. There are a wonderful selection of anecdotes in there, and there are some exercises that you can follow if you want to improve on your own writing based around the overarching metaphor of freediving. It's really interesting. If you've got 20 minutes to spare at any point this week, I really encourage you to go and give it a look. There was a performance workshop held over Google Hangouts on Friday. Unlike the writing workshop from the first week, this wasn't recorded, it happened live, so you won't unfortunately be able to take part in that again. But there is another one coming up this Friday. If you want to take part, that will be in video format, so you will be able to catch that on Friday or at any of the weeks afterwards. Yesterday's Google Hangout was again fantastic. You will all be receiving an email and a Facebook status, if we can find you on Facebook, advertising this. So if you see any messages that aren't from people you know about Pangaea, it's probably us advertising that hangout. The email will be coming from pangaeapoetry@gmail.com. Check your junk mails for that email. It includes a basic link that you will need to take part in the Google Hangout. It will be amazing to see as many of you as possible this next week. Obviously, it's going to be the last one of the slam, and it's going to be great to kind of just bring everybody together for that and to really celebrate the wonderful plethora of poetry that we have been able to bring into the world together. Some entries that might have slipped your notice are Dathan Horridge's, which was also untitled this week, Mary Dickens' How to Do a Bucket List on the Cheap, Lindsay Aaron's Limbs, Intersastra's Panoramic Pond, and Kevin Kappa's Facebook International School. I will put links to all of those in the description. Feel free to check them out. I will also put links to Chris's Create lecture down there. Generally, people did get quite high view counts this week, which was great, and I know that means that you guys are sharing each other's work and you're really investing the time to check out other people's entries. Again, a few there that just came in like at the last minute, so if you can find them and give those your time and your attention, that will be very much appreciated. Things coming up this week. We are going to have another lecture coming out on Wednesday. This one will be by spoken word artist Kat Brogan. Kat is very active in the political sphere here in the UK. She has been on a lot of news channels talking about poetry and politics, and her Think lecture is going to be very much around poetry in a socially conscious movement, and that's going to be a really, really great lecture to check out. It will be coming out on schedule on Wednesday. As I mentioned, we're going to be running another workshop on Friday. We have already run lectures on writing and performance. This one is going to be on writing as a career. It's going to be me and Amira doing it again. It is going to be a video that will be going up on Friday. Take a look at it if you have time. We're going to be kind of just talking about our personal journeys. As writers, we're going to give you guys some questions for you to think about in terms of your own career and how poetry can sit alongside it, or if you want it to form the solid base, how you can turn what is a hobby into a kind of something that can sustain a living for you. So if you're interested in any of that, make sure to check out that video when it goes out live on Friday. We're going to be putting a link to it on all of our social media channels, or you can subscribe to us on YouTube and it will arrive in your subscriptions box. Again, the Google Hangout will be happening on Sunday. It will be amazing to see as many of you there as possible. It will be happening from 5 till 7 p.m. UK time, which is GMT +1. Those of you who've been in America, I know the last few have all been really difficult to try and get to, particularly if you're on the West Coast. This time you should be able to just about make it, and it'll be an absolute privilege to see you there. On to the top 10. So we had, again, a wonderful variety of entries this week, and the top 10 I feel reflects that. So at number 10 we have Jerry Potter, number 9 Midnight Shelley, number 8 Jasmine Gardosi, number 7 Tim Scottson, number 6 Nicole Murphy, number 5 Sylvian Grumack, number 4 Kieran Hodges, Number 4, Elu the Poet. Number 3, Christian Stewart. Number 2, Archer RS. And first place, again, was Eileen Cummings. So I'm not sure what you're doing, Eileen, but it seems to be working. If you haven't seen those videos, they were all spectacular. Go and give them a look. Again, this is not the overall top 10. This is just top 10 for round 3. It's all still really hotly contested at the top. The top 10, it's a really, really close race still. So please make sure you submit your entries to round 4. Make sure you watch the round 4 announcement video that Casey posted up yesterday as well. It includes some really important reminders about the fact that this is a community-focused event, and it's kind of just a call out for, this is round 4 now. No matter if you've never taken part or if you've taken part in only one round, try and submit again for round 4. This is the end note. This is like the keynote speech. This is going to be what people remember the slam for, and it's just going to be so important that this round is the one that feels like it's people coming together, it's people celebrating poetry. So please submit your entries, share each other's entries, give each other as much love and attention as you can, and then let's all try and be there on Sunday for that last Google Hangout, that last push, and figure out what it is we want to do after the slam as well. As usual, I'm going to end on the beastly monstrosity that is the free written poem that was produced in this week's Google Hangout. I hope you guys like it. Here we go. Good morning, Pangaea. How are you today? Today we have for you some angst, some beauty, drizzled over waffles of self-absorption with fried chicken and a side of soul-bearing. This is a breakfast of poets for the bargain price of $5.99. Maybe higher if you're vegan. Mashed potatoes are not for everyone, but experience is a staple food. Again, staple varies. I'll have an extra hot skinny vanilla latte with soy milk and chai with a shot of caramel, suitable for vegans with nut and gluten allergies. No bright colours with an umbrella in it and a shot of rum, somebody calls out. This is the library, another voice calls out. But there's food. Food for thought, but they fill my tummy too. I like to have mine in the history section, just to conjure poetry from the past. Stacked between shelves of yesterday's philosophers and the mistakes they made, sidelined for the bright lights of vampire fiction, which sparkle, or not, depending on your tastes. Or is it Vampire Weekend? I don't know, I sit in the history section for a reason. Or maybe Destiny called, casting my mind back, lost in self-help to that time I had that Krispy Kreme addiction. I needed an out, but had no atlas. Or a bird's navigation system migrating over oceans, internal compass distinguishing between north and south, right and wrong? Moral directions confused by signs, but who defines right and wrong, or what defines? It ain't the bird, nor the compass, it ain't the plane, and Superman has left. Is it the poetry? It's gotta be, if it's done well and with feeling and in time. To the beating of your heart floating on clouds, to the sylvan fields where I hope they serve up voices soft as cream whipped in a chalice from within gilded cages. Now the question is, what is poetry? It's the ocean currents drowning the Pacific Rim. It's the eternal lovers, the moon and sun, chasing each other across time and space. It is the voice of the wind making the leaves on trees clink together. Poetry is the mind's eye of a dream put into word art. It is experience and emotion and a thought distilled into lines. It's the dump you finally manage to squeeze out after 4 days of struggling. It is you at the right place at the right time, offers Carlson Senecott. Thank you, Claire. Poetry requires fibre, mental fibre, knit in crazy passions in patterns, so it all came out. As we offer up with nose plugs, rolls of Andrex in the hope of Carl's relief. Initially, they don't make sense, but once it's done, it's perfect. The yarn, twisting your words into sentences as we reach into the sewers of the mind, and maybe your bowels too. The dark places must be explored with your light to guide you through. Colonoscopy of the soul, maybe a probe. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Oh, that's the other end of Wonderland. As we sphincter thinkers explore the dark recesses of art, the skid marks of pseudo-intellectualism, the only time you don't have a smartphone, written on the bog roll of the bourgeoisie, you let the deep drudgery of your innermost self come out. Arrête, drop on the page. C'est la fin, monsieur. And now, as we ascend into a more pleasant land, no more worries, no more shit. Where music escapes time, and time waits for no man, but it waits for me. It dances to my tune. Eternal minds have no sense of time. The sundial moves to my command, but I rarely command. It dances to my songs back and forth, watching shadows waltz back and forth, a two-step to three-time or a waltz in 4/4. Like blades of ice cutting through time, death has no limits. It twirls onwards, ever onwards, collecting spirits to its side, spraying shards of memories, a conga line of mortality to dance with him. Weaving and widening as it spreads decay, but I'll still dance with none but my Lord, myself, our last tango with a cup of tea, cha-cha-cha, sip-sip, cha-cha-cha. Death is English, turns out. Maybe English is death. A bowler hat covering shiny skull, ivory towers in the dark shine, beacons beckoning. Did somebody say breakfast? Did somebody say breakfast? Look for my light, swim to my feet, I'll shelter you and eat cheese on toast. Breakfast is getting cold, darling, so come back and eat. Back to where? I'm everywhere. A culinary god of poetry.